Hi, my name is Rose Spinelli, and in this session we're going to talk about how to get media attention for your crowdfunding campaign. In today's online environment, it's within your power to be your own media company. That's right, you no longer have to wait for the establishment media to write about you anymore. You can get your own press. In fact, except for the very few, this strategy is kind of required of you. Now, if you have an excess of funds but are low on time, this may not be great news for you. And of course, the public relations industry is still thriving, so they're available for hire to anyone who's willing to pay. But if you are like most crowdfunders, you'll be happy about the shift. It used to be that you had to rely on public relations entities to put you in the front of the media. They dictated and managed your exposure because they'd taken the time to form and nurture the relationships. Publicists alone had the sacred media list and the ear of the press. The internet has radically changed who gets a second look and who doesn't. It's democratized things, removing that layer that previously kept you from interacting with the media. Now, because of the quantity of outlets out there, and by outlets, I mean bloggers and industry influencers that often have an enormous readership and following, the definition of the media has changed dramatically as well. This has flipped the balance of power away from the large media outlets and in the direction of niche market writers and reviewers. So, your first job is to find as many of the niche bloggers and influencers as possible, which you can do by using some of the online tools that I provided in the resource section. Then you have to determine which bloggers to reach out to. Because quality is more important than quantity, here are some factors to consider in order to plot your most effective outreach. Here's a simple solution or hack for finding relevant bloggers by using Google Images. After finding projects that are similar to yours, drag the images to your desktop. The thumbnails of the campaign work fine. Then open Google Images and simply drag and drop the images one at a time into the search bar. What will turn up is a complete rundown of every website that has ever posted that image. And many of those sites will be from bloggers and journalists who've written about that campaign. You can also use a tool called Similar Sites, which, just like it sounds, finds other sites similar to the ones you're looking for. Now that you have some hot leads, it's time to review those sites. Frequency. How often do they post? Don't waste your time on bloggers who disappear for long periods of time. It speaks to a lack of dedication. Engagement. Look for sites that receive comments. This shows their audience is engaged with them. Do they have a lot of subscribers? A strong social media presence is also an indicator of audience engagement. Check them out on Google PageRank or on SEO MozRank, which calculate the ratings of websites. Relevance. This is an important one. Is the blog's subject matter important to your goals? Conversely, will their readers find your project of interest? Read their posts closely. Make sure your interests intersect. And if they don't, move on. It's never a good idea to go on a fishing expedition or put the responsibility on the person you're trying to win over to figure out what or whether there's a relevant story there. Busy editors and bloggers already get tons of mails. Don't add to more clutter with irrelevant requests. Traffic. There are two tools to help you discern traffic. Alexa is a web information company that provides free website analytics. Compete can be used to gauge unique monthly visitors. Influential relationships. The best way to reach and promote interest in your project is through a first-person introduction to a blogger by someone you know. An easy way to find your most influential friends is to use Klout, which is a site that measures social influence. I've provided a link to Klout's beginner's guide so you can learn best practices of this really great tool. And LinkedIn is also a wonderful resource to find out what connections you and your target media share. I find their tools helpful and really easy to use. Now, once you've done all your research, reach out and see if your connections are willing to make an introduction. Most people are more than happy to lend their social influence. Now that you've got your list, which should include between 15 to 30 sources, more or less depending on your topic, you'll want to create a systematic plan for securing press before you need it. You'll want to listen to my excerpted webinar, which I originally contributed to on Bright Talk, and which you'll find in the resources section. In it, I talk about factors such as timing, and I also provide a number of online tools for finding and targeting press. And if you want to listen to the entire Bright Talk webinar, which provides insights from 2 other crowdfunding PR professionals as well, you'll find the link for that too. Additionally, you'll also want to study both the social media and the strategy portion of the strategy and management workshop for even more tips. So, writing an interesting pitch. Once you've got your strategy in place, it's time to write your pitches. Make sure to use the principles I outlined in the storytelling workshop. The idea is to craft correspondences that grab your reader's attention and will inspire them to learn more about what you do. Whether you do this in the form of an email pitch or a press release will depend on many factors. So, email pitch to people you know. In order for your email pitch to work well, they should be segmented and targeted. No mass emails allowed. Effective subject lines. You've got a nanosecond to grab your reader's attention, so make it count with a catchy subject line. Remember, using capital letters has the opposite of the desired effect, so make it simple and easy on the eye. A good pitch email can deepen relationships you've already got, so make it personal and you improve your chances that your message will be read. Unique voice. By writing in your own familiar voice, you can further solidify an effective relationship with your reader. So lose the pushy sales pitches and speak from your heart. Niche content. You've selected these particular email contacts because you feel your goal and your recipient's goals align. So though it's fine to add a personal note at the beginning or at the end, make sure you get to the point and tell this person what you've got to say. Email pitches to strangers. Now here's an example of an email pitch that was sent to me by someone I didn't know. I love how brief it is. I actually dedicated a whole blog post to what I liked about it. It's entitled, "Does Your Crowdfunding Campaign Need a Press Release?" So check it out in the resources. Okay, so your press release pitch. Here's what a press release looks like. If you decide to use one, which follows a who, what, where, when, why, and how formula, make sure to think of it as a piece of your across-platform storytelling efforts. So, be memorable, not bland or boring, be brief, not wordy, be of value to your reader, not braggy, be thoughtful and not demanding. Many experts feel press releases are not as effective as they used to be, and many editors freely admit that they don't read them at all. I've included some resources that discuss in great detail the wisdom of the press release, especially as it relates to SEO. They provide both perspectives, so you can read them all and draw your own conclusions on whether it's a good choice for you and your project. Be prepared when the press contacts you. All right, even if you decide that your campaign isn't suited to a press release to make your initial contact, you'll want to have a press kit prepared for when the media come knocking. Consider putting it in Dropbox for easy access. Don't make them work hard to get it, whatever you do. Besides the benefits of having your information, including a bio, details about your crowdfunding project, high-resolution images, and all accurate contact details, you'll ensure having maximum control over your messaging, which I think is really, really important. When bloggers ask for payment, all right, well, this has become a new norm in some circles, so don't be thrown off if you're asked to pay for a write-up. The final decision is up to you, but it's best to know your rights. First, if a journalist for an established media outlet asks for money, they're out of ethical bounds and they could be sued. When bloggers ask for money, they're legally obligated to disclose this fact. I've included the most recent FTC guidelines in the resources, but do make sure you discuss details in advance. Make sure the blogger really likes your product or idea and isn't just looking for your money. Anyone can tell the difference between a sincere mention and one that's not. So that's it. You're now armed and ready to get the media attention your campaign deserves. Good luck.